So what exactly is custom fitting? What's the process? What do we look at? What do we analyze? How long does it take? How much is it going to cost you? What to expect exactly on the day when you come? There's a lot of questions for people who have never been custom fit before, understandably so. So that's exactly what we're going to look at today. I'm going to take you through an in-depth, detailed guide to exactly what to expect when you come for a custom fitting. So welcome down to Elite Performance Golf Studios. My name is Ross Walker and I am the co-founder and also head club fitter here at Elite Performance Golf Studios. And today I just want to talk to you a little bit about who we are, what we're trying to do within the custom fitting space, who we're trying to offer our services for, and also exactly what to expect when you're going to come for a club fitting here. I'm going to give you an overall kind of guide as well. I know there's going to be a lot of people that maybe can't come here. I can hopefully give you guys some tips as to what to look for when you're going to different places to get fit, to make sure you get the best experience. But I just want to touch on what to expect when you come here and just tell you a little bit about what exactly custom fitting is. So before we jump into the step-by-step detailed process of exactly what custom fitting is, I just want to talk to you briefly about what we're trying to achieve here. Why did we set up Elite Performance Golf Studios? And really there's one word for that, and that's inclusive. We're trying to offer the very best custom fit service at an affordable price for every single golfer, regardless of ability, regardless of age, sex, height, strength, anything, does not matter. We want to offer an independent, unbiased, honest, trustworthy, custom fitting service where you can come, have fun, enjoy yourself, learn, and ultimately leave with the clubs that best suit your game. So when we take a look at kind of the custom fit landscape as a whole, it kind of seems to be lacking in this middle ground. And what I mean by that is you've obviously got your high-end, your premium custom fit specialists who you're going to pay a premium for the fitting, and then you're going to expect to pay decent money for kind of the premium aftermarket shaft as well, which is fine. That's the premium high-end service. And then at the other end, you've got kind of your lower end custom fits where obviously you might kind of have a couple of options, maybe hit a couple on a range and then go, that one feels fine, right? So what we want to try and do is really merge those two worlds together and make sure for a start, we're offering absolutely everybody the very best custom fit service possible, but also options from both worlds. There's going to be a lot of people that don't or can't afford to pay for the high-end upcharge aftermarket shafts and pay for a lot for a fit-in. Absolutely fine. And there's a lot of people that still do want that premium fitting and the premium products to go along with it. That's right where we want to come in. Right, sit in that middle ground of best of both worlds. We've got the stock shaft if that's what you want. We've got the premium shaft if that's what you want. We're a very kind of affordable price within the fitting realm, but we're still very in depth. Our sessions are very long and we're going to give you the very best of everything really. So having mentioned obviously all the options that we have here, I just want to touch briefly on pricing. And number one, say there is never any obligation to buy whatsoever. In fact, a lot of the time, you know, people's equipment is absolutely fine for them. We say, do you know what? We've analyzed yours. We've tried 15 other combos. Yours is absolutely fantastic. Stick with what you got. Absolutely fine. No obligation to buy. In terms of price wise, we'll happily work within any budget. If you say to us, look, I really need a new driver, but I can only really afford a stock shaft, absolutely fine, not a problem with that, we'll work with you. We price match the large online retailers for anything that is just a stock offering. Obviously, we can still order it to spec, let's say a different length, different swing weight, different grip, that will still be the same price as you'll find online, absolutely not a problem. Obviously, if it is an upcharge kind of aftermarket shaft, it's going to cost you a bit more. We're pretty open and honest generally as we're going through. We'll tell you kind of this is a stock shaft, this is an upcharge shaft, this is kind of 150, 200, 250 extra, all those kind of things. And then we're weighing up the options at the end. At least you have all the information to go, do you know what, that Ventus was really good, but actually maybe the stock shaft wasn't that far behind it. So for the money, with my budget at the minute, I think I'm going to stick with the stock one. Absolutely fine. Like, we're super honest, laid back here. We want to do the best thing by you and just make sure you've got the right information to make the best decision really. So stepping into the hit and bay, it was very important for us when we were setting this up to have kind of an open, airy, free-feeling space, which is just one-to-one. We just made one big fitting room. So it's just me and the person I'm fitting. So the bay is kind of 5 meters wide by just over 3 meters high. So there's plenty of space to be hitting. It's nice, open, airy. And more importantly, it's a one-on-one environment. So when you're paying for a custom fitting, you're paying for my undivided attention and time to make sure we get exactly what's right for you. And then it's also just easier for me to make it a bit more relaxed, a bit more laid back. There's no hustle and bustle, people running everywhere. It's just chilled. So the very first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to let you have a warm-up. Just hit some shots, 5-10 minutes. We can just get to know each other a little bit, talk through your golf game, see what's good, see what's bad, and yeah, just have a nice relaxed warm-up and just get chilled. I know that might obviously not seem like a very big deal, but I mean, getting custom fit can be very, very nerve-wracking for a lot of people. So being able to create a relaxed, laid-back environment where you can feel comfortable can be the difference between actually getting a really good custom fit and maybe not quite getting the results that you should have. So we use the Foresight Sports GT Quad for all of our fittings. And in my opinion, it's just the best, most reliable, accurate, consistent launch monitor for indoor custom fitting. Track command's obviously good if you're using the RCT balls, but I think for indoor fitting, you just can't really beat Quad. It's so unbelievably good. And I mean, we're going to take you through all of this data that you see on screen. And one thing that, again, we pride ourselves on is kind of making it a bit of an educational experience when you come down. If you don't know what all of these numbers mean by the end of the session, you definitely will. As I say, it's very in-depth. You know, Quad spitting out stuff like ball speed, club speed, efficiency. Obviously, you've got carry in total, we've got offline, closure rate, got path, face to path, angle of attack, dynamic loft, launch and spin, strike location, dynamic lie. We're also going to look at multiple other variables as well that we get in table format, kind of the dispersion, the peak height, angle of descent, all those kind of things when we're going through every session. So again, you need to be as clued up on this as I am by the time you leave, because therefore we can make an informed decision together. You need to be happy with what you're leaving with. I need to be happy with what you're leaving with, and together we get the right combo. So following on from the warm-up, obviously we had a nice chat about your golf game. I'm starting to kind of paint a picture. The next step is I'm obviously going to baseline your current clubs. So for example, if you've obviously just come in for an iron fitting, typically we'll use just a 7-iron, but I may ask you to hit some longer irons as well. So I feel that would be necessary. So the baseline obviously is going to consist of just checking every single spec of your current club. So this is my 7-iron. So obviously I would put it in the loft and lie machine, get a little loft and lie reading, which this is mine, so it should be 3361. Yep, 3361, perfect. So I'm going to know the exact specs of your club when we come to hit it. So that way I'll get a good reference of kind of the performance that that's given us, and then I'll kind of know what to start to go into depending on what we're trying to achieve. So we're going to swing weight it as well. It's kind of just over D1. Yep, fine. I'll go out back and I'll measure it as well, so I know the length. So we know everything about your current club before we then jump on Quad and get set with it to see how it's performing for you. Now it's time for the baseline. The baseline, what we're going to do is we're going to hit a set of shots with your 7-iron, that was all right, or whatever it is for the fit-in driver, 3-wood hybrid, whatever it may be. We're going to hit with set with your current club to see exactly how that's performing for you. Now obviously, throughout the warm-up, I would have kind of been watching you, see how you swing, see what kind of tempo have you got, are you aggressive, are you smooth? We again would have been talking through your game, so I'd have been starting to paint a picture, and then we're going to start to get all this data, your swing speed, your kind of angle of attack, your delivered loft, your path, your face to path. We've already been discussing miss, all those kind of things. So I'm really starting to paint a picture in my head of what type of golfer you are, where you struggle, and then how we can help you the most. Okay, so now we've got your baseline. So I've hit some with my 7-iron here, or again, whatever we're going to be fitting for, driver, etc. So you can see just a few of my numbers. This is an average 128 ball, 18 launch, 6800 spin, 182 carry. See the dispersion on average is a little bit left because that's typically my miss with every club anyway. I know because I looked a second ago that the peak was 117 feet in the air, with a descent angle of 51 degrees. Now I'm pretty okay with those numbers, to be honest. Wouldn't mind maybe getting that peak down a little bit, so maybe looking at maybe even a ball that would maybe just spin a slightly lower, just to bring that peak down a little bit. And that's something that we do a lot here as well. We use all premium balls, and I'm always trying to find club and ball combos that could just bring the whole kind of set together, that give you the best of every world, really. Because I've got quite a lot of speed, so if you want to try and get ball flight down, one of the main ways to do that is through loft, but you don't really want to do that with high-speed players, because then you just end up hitting the ball absolutely miles. So it's kind of like just really about finding the balance. So we've got the ball flight data. We'll also have a quick look at the club data. So flicking over to the club data, I can see how you deliver the club. Now, this is the most important thing when it comes to custom fitting. I've done a lot of previous videos, and a lot of people mention swing speed in terms of if you're kind of doing a review on a club, they're like, it's not really comparable because you swing way faster than me, but that's like second or third really in the queue in terms of what matters the most. Delivery is what matters the most. Delivery, then probably tempo, then probably club speed. Because if you're kind of, you might be swinging at 120 and taking off 10 degrees. You might be swinging at 120 and adding 10 degrees. Now those two people, same speed, would need a completely different club. Bit of an extreme example, but you get what I mean. So we've got an efficiency, which is just a kind of ratio of the club speed and ball speed. Club head speed, delivered loft, it's a biggie. We've got the dynamic lie, so we can see I'm very marginally toe down. Face angle, path, and angle of attack, all on average. So I'm now really starting to paint a picture of how you deliver the club, and actually how we're now going to try and jump in and achieve the results that we want to. Oh, now we come to the fun part. It's time for the fitting. Well, that goes miles. 194. So the new forged tech from Cobra, absolute rocket. It's a little bit too much for me, but great fun. So we come into the fitting part of the process. Now, this is obviously the lump of the process. We've done the kind of groundwork. We've spoken through your golf game. I've painted a picture. We've baselined what you've got. We've looked at your delivery. We've gone through what we're trying to achieve, whether that may be more distance, better dispersion, kind of just a bit more control, a bit more confidence, more launch, spin, angle of descent, height, all of those kind of things. You know, typically I find it's just a balance of everything, to be honest. It's finding the best balance for you, especially when it comes to something like irons. We need distance, yes, but we need control. So we need a balanced ball flight. So this part of the process, I mean, it's really good fun, and it's very, very in-depth. Now, I like to look at it as kind of more of the modern approach rather than old school approach, and that being more open to absolutely every option. Even sometimes things that you think might not work, they might well work. And I like to just untick boxes, or tick boxes, whichever way you want to look at it. I want to test multiple variables. We're going to test different shaft lengths. We're going to test different shaft weights. We're going to test different shaft flexes. We're going to test different shaft profiles. Guys, it's a mouthful. Different heads with different lofts, with different lie angles, different CG locations designed to do different things, maybe even different grip sizes, different balance points. Like literally when you leave here, you will be 100% confident that you have got the very best clubs for you. So yeah, like I said in the intro, it's kind of really an educational, I need to get some of these and put them in the bag. It's an educational experience as well. So as we're going through, we can see what does what and why. And that's something that I honestly love doing with everybody. And it still seems to be a lot of kind of misinformation, kind of miseducation out there, especially when it comes to club designs. Like irons, for example, number one thing is loft. Like that is the number one thing really when it comes to distance, launch conditions. So if you have more loft, you're going to typically get more launch, more spin. You have less loft, you're going to get less launch, less spin, and more distance. Like there's some very basic things like that that are pretty much just physics. And then there's a lot of other variables that are completely unknown until you come in. Like what shaft weight should you be playing? What shaft flex should you be playing? What profile is going to be best for you? And all of those things are reactionary. And kind of part of our job as fitters is getting the kind of feedback from you, which is sometimes difficult, but then pattern recognition. We're always looking at all that data that I took you through at the beginning. What's it doing to strike? What's it doing to path? What's it doing to the face to path relationship? What's it doing to kind of dynamic lie? All of these variables, and then we're trying to kind of like take the bad shot and reduce that as much as possible by adding up all little different things, little kind of shower profiles, head designs, lie angles, kind of all those different things, balls, everything to kind of really make sure that we're getting the whole kind of picture and balancing it out. So again, just make sure you get the best fit for you, really. So let's kind of touch on what happens next. That's a decent shot, go on. So it's flipped into Mizuno 221, so pure blade. So we can see actually, what did that carry? 174 compared to the Forge Tech was carrying, I don't know, well over 190. Very different head designs, but very different loft. 29.5, 34, but both 7 irons. So again, it's all part of the process, right? I mean, that would have been completely different launch, completely different spin. We'll look at it in a second. But now we're actually going to dive into kind of the numbers. We're going to compare everything. It's generally pretty apparent within the fitting. We keep going until we kind of dial in the combo that we're actually really happy with. But then we kind of compare it back to your own and kind of some of the others as well, because it's just a very kind of interesting thing to do. So even with those 3 clubs that I've literally only hit 3 or 4 with each, it's obviously not a fitting. Just to show you kind of what, the sort of difference we can see there is we've got kind of ball speed from 125 to 130. We've got launches from 17 to 19.5. We've got backspin from 6,000 up to 7,300. And we've got carry from 175 to 190 on average. That's just three different 7 irons. I mean, it's incredibly different. And I mean, we're always going to look at set composition as well. So we're going to stop the iron at the iron that we think is going to start to drop off in height. We can generally tell that through speed, delivery, those kind of things, and therefore recommend maybe we're going to go into hybrid, something like that. That's a very, very important part, especially with the loft getting stronger nowadays. I kind of find that some of the less detailed fittings, obviously it's done based on launch monitor data. So they can give you a 7 iron, like a Forge Tech, and go, wow, that's giving you an extra 15 yards of carry, and that's going to look amazing. But what they might not tell you is because they're a stronger lofted set of irons, the long irons get very close together in loft. So if you're someone who hasn't quite got enough speed, or your delivery isn't as such that you're going to be able to launch those irons, the 4 and 5 iron might do exactly the same thing. Or even the 4, 5 and 6 iron might do exactly the same thing. I've seen it multiple times. I just don't take it into account. Make a sale because you're gaining yardage, but that 7 iron isn't where your 7 iron should be. It's too far, so therefore at the top end of the bag it just starts gapping up, or bottom end, 4, 5, 6 iron. I mean, it's all these sort of things. There's so much to take into consideration. But yeah, hopefully we do that well and you leave with the best results. So now we've come to the end of the fitting process where typically we would have gone through 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 heads, and then again, same sort of 4, 5, 6 shafts and different combos, trying different grips. So we've tested a lot. We've looked at all the data, completely happy with what we've come up with. I'm going to do an in-depth spec sheet that I'm going to give to you. That's going to have all the information on it: head, shaft, grip, length, loft, lie, swing weight, etc., with the price on it. And again, there's absolutely no pressure to buy. If you decide to buy at the end of the session, absolutely fine. If not, go away and think about it. We send you all the data from the GC Quad so you can have a little look through to see what you actually think to help make a decision. And yeah, apart from that, that's pretty much it really. Hopefully you've had a really good, fun, enjoyable experience, maybe picked up a couple of little swing tips along the way as well. All those kind of things. I mean, it's really an all-inclusive experience as we want to offer. It's not just a custom fit session. We want you to really enjoy it, really take something away and actually help you play better golf. We want to build a kind of relationship with our customers long term and get you from, whatever you're at to wherever you want to be, hopefully. So yeah, I hope that kind of gives you just enough of an idea about what kind of the process would be when it comes to custom fitting. Sometimes it can be a bit more jiggery pokery, kind of back and forward, kind of, was that actually what we were seeing with that combo? I'll tell you what, let's go back and have a look at that. Actually hit yours again for me. Kind of, it's not sometimes just a straightforward and linear process. It can be very kind of choppy and changey at times, but for us, that's why our sessions are longer. We want to give ourselves the time to make sure we get it right. Sometimes it's difficult, but ultimately we're weighing it up together to get the best decision. So there you go. Hope you really enjoyed that video. Any questions, please comment below. I'll be happy to get back to any kind of questions whatsoever. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.